This is probably the most common driver fault that I see, and it could be costing you 40, 50, even 60 yards off the tee, and that's just so valuable that we get that distance back. It will make the game so much easier. It's going to be the difference between going in with a wood and maybe even a short iron. And the golfers that I've helped with this over the years don't even know that they're doing it, but we're going to explain what it is. I've got my launch pointer down here. I'm going to hit a drive. Hopefully, I'm going to hit a good one, and then we're going to look at another swing where I'm making one kind of fatal flaw, which is costing me that distance. So, got drive, I got the ball nicely teed up. Let's just go ahead and hit one, see if we can hit a good drive down this par 5. I'm going to have the data coming on the screen as I hit it. So I'd be pretty happy with that. Pretty high ball flight, looked like it's carried pretty good distance, and you can see there that club speed 116 miles an hour, carry distance 293 yards. So I'd be pretty happy with that as a carry. And we're now going to go ahead and hit one, making one pretty big flaw, and we'll go through it, and then obviously more importantly we'll go through actually how you can kind of fix it when you're playing. That time 232 yards, over 50 yards down, well, nearly 60 yards down on that first drive. Why? Because the attack angle was minus 3.5. So basically, if you're hitting down on the driver, you are sacrificing, giving up so much yardage, and we don't want you to do that. I don't want you to do that. It's one of the biggest driver faults that I see, and I know there's going to be plaguing so many of you out there. So how do we change that? How do we get it to hit up on the driver? Well, you know, it does stem from potentially a lot of practice with irons, potentially watching a lot of videos on YouTube about how to shift and how to hit down and how to compress the ball, which is all really, really helpful with the irons, not so much with the driver. So we're really going to just cover 3 things really. We're going to cover, make sure we get the setup right, a really simple drill I want everyone to try, and then a really good concept that you can have with the driver. So setup first. Let's make sure that we've got the ball nicely up off that front heel. Okay, the more forward in the stance we have the golf ball, the more chance we've got of hitting up on it. The golf club is working in your swing like this. It's going down, it's going up. The later we hit the golf ball, the more chance it's got that the club is working up, so ball further forward. However, really key point here, having the ball forward in your stance is absolutely no good if you do this. So many golfers do. Set themselves up, nice wide stance, ball is forward in your feet, leaning forward with that trail shoulder. That right hand has to get onto the golf grip. You lean forward, look where the buttons are relative to the ball. Pretty much in line with it. So relative to me, where is that ball? It's right in the middle, it's not forward. So yes, we've got to get it forward in the stance, but you've got to get it forward of your sternum. So I want you to take the club, I want you to hold it on your buttons, just like this, really simple. Stand up nice and tall, tip over, make sure that club is hanging into the middle of your heels, as it is. Now I can go ahead and set the club in behind the golf ball. So your 3 key checkpoints really in setup: ball forward, wide stance, sternum, middle of your heels. That's going to give you a great starting point in order to hit up on the golf ball. So here's the little drill I want you to try. You might have seen this one. I don't care if you have, this is one of the best things you can do because it's really simple. And simple is always good. You're going to take your head cover, make sure it's got no zips or any metal parts on it. This one here from my Stealth 2 hasn't. And you're going to go a foot in front of your golf ball, place it onto the ground. And all you're really looking to do is to see if you can hit some shots when you're missing the head cover. And what's really good with this, it gives you a really good visual because I can see the objects in front of me. I can see that I've got to work the club up over it. And when I hit this shot, there's going to be 1 or 2 results. I'm either going to miss the head cover, give myself a nice big tick, I did the right thing, or I'm going to hit the head cover. And trust me, once you start having to walk 10 yards after every shot to bring your head cover back, you're going to start making some changes and hitting up on it. So let's have a look at this. We've got the data through there. We're looking at attack angle. That's the key number here. Can I hit this drive with a positive attack angle? Head cover stayed in place. So even if you haven't got technology like I have, you can get that data. 5.3 degrees up on the golf ball. Look at the carry, 294 yards. Did I swing any quicker? No, 114 miles an hour. So no quicker on that swing than the previous one that carried 230 yards. But the big difference was I hit up on it by 5.3 degrees. So what is that one kind of swing cue that you can have? Because obviously on the golf course, you know, you're not going to have this head cover. This is great for practice. It's great to give you an awareness. It's great to give you that feedback. It's great so you can create a station and work on this. I'd love everyone to work on this because I know it can give you more yardage. And if you get more yardage, game's going to be much easier to play. It's going to be more fun as well. You might be able to outdrive your playing partners. So I want you to think of upper and lower centres. Lower centre is going to be your belt buckle. Upper centre is going to be the buttons on your shirt or your sternum, okay? And all I want you to try and imagine with the driver is that your upper is staying behind your lower, okay? So as I take a setup and I get to the top of my backswing, as I start down, notice how my upper centre is behind my lower centre. The other way you can think about that is basically just trying to keep the head back behind the ball. If you can keep the head back behind the ball and start to move your lower body first, you're going to be in a great position to hit up on the driver. So many golfers that I've helped with this who do have that negative attack angle do so because this upper centre starts to win the race. It starts to move in front of the belt buckle, and you'll see what that does to the club. It brings it sort of more out in front of me. The club head stays really high, and from here I haven't really got a lot of options other than to hit down on the golf ball. In fact, if I just try and show you and demonstrate you that swing now, I'm going to take a really good setup. So I've got my ball position nice and forward, but all I'm going to do is in this swing, I'm going to start with my upper body. I'm going to start with my shoulders. I'm going to move my upper centre in front of my lower, and we'll just watch what happens to the attack angle as I do that. Okay, much lower ball flight. Attack angle is going to go way down, minus 4.8. 211 yards carry that time. Now my swing speed did go down a bit to 110, but 211 yards versus 290 odd yards. I know which I'd rather have, and I know which I'd love you to have. So let's keep it really simple. Let's make sure our setup is good. Let's make sure that we're keeping our upper centre behind our lower centre, and let's just use something like a head cover to give you that feedback. If you can miss the head cover, you're hitting up on it, and if you're hitting up on it, that's the way to maximise your distance. Go ahead and practice that. I'd love to get you a few more yards, and it's free distance because you don't even have to swing it any faster.